Cup and Gail Burr, the borough president, at PS 124, 6 o'clock. And that is going to be on the 12th. And then also the scoping meeting that is going to be discussing our plans will be on September 27th at 1 Central Street. Right, so those are just two of the upcoming opportunities that everybody will have in the community to be heard by the city, the mayor's office, and all the agencies working on this together. So with that, I'd like to turn over to Dana Kaplan, the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, to go through the plans. Please keep your questions to the end. And as I said, this is the first of many conversations we'll be having with you and your neighbors regarding this long process. Thank you so much.
Great. So, as Commissioner Carey said, I'm Dana Kaplan, and I'm with the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. I thank you all for coming out this evening. I know this is a very important topic, and so I hope that this will be very helpful in providing additional information about the city's plans for those drivers. So, just to kind of begin, the concept here is to close Rikers Island jails as quickly as possible. I'll speak a little bit about what we believe the benefits are of that. Housing people closer to their family and their home communities is very important so that there can be better access to visitation, so that there can be better access from service providers, from attorneys. There are some real benefits to that. Providing greater access to social services and community-based service providers is something that is good for the criminal justice system in our city and something that should be a goal for all of us. Fewer families impacted by the criminal justice system is something that we are very focused on. If we have more effective jails, we will see that there are fewer people who are coming back into the criminal justice system upon release, and that is one of the things that we are very focused on. How is it that we can ensure that when people come into contact with our criminal justice system, they are actually being redirected into different opportunities, services, and interventions that do not lead to reoffending? Safer. We believe that with better designed jail facilities, it will be safer for people in detention, and it will be safer for people who are working in detention facilities. That is a very important goal, both for people who are incarcerated in New York City jails, and also for the many, many people who are staffing these facilities. Better lines of sight and a more modern layout. And again, quality programming that improves recidivism is something that we think is incredibly important. Finally, more efficient. One of the challenges of Rikers Island is, as I said, it's very hard to access via public transportation. It's very far from the courts. And so one of the challenges has been when people have court dates, the ability and the challenge to be a stressful experience in coming in to visit loved ones in jail. And a good neighbor. I think that the way, and I don't say think that this is, I think there's a lot of evidence to support the statement, that the way that jail design is historically operated in this country is not one that you would say are, fantastic examples of design. That's not something, that we can point to as, these are beautiful civic assets historically. What we believe and what we are seeking to accomplish with this new master plan to develop borough-based jails is to develop jails that can actually promote safety and security, but also design for more dignified environments that are more appropriate to the neighborhood and more appealing from a visual perspective from the outside. So there's a lot of community assets that we believe can be leveraged. And we want to, these are some images of some civic centers and jails that we can speak to, and I think that the consultant team can speak to in terms of where we know that design can actually ultimately operate far more effectively than what it has, than how it has, again, across the country, but also where our current borough jails also figure some improvement. speak frankly. So in terms of the sites, as I said in the beginning, there's 4 borough-based jails. The purpose of tonight's meeting is, of course,
My name is Eric Bang, Municipal and Corporate Eastern Architect. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm going to take you through a little bit of an explanation on the proposed site and some of the details on the program for the Manhattan location. As you can see, the proposed site is at the 87th Street between Baxter and Center Street, both in place and Worcester. Now it's like a corner or the intersection between 341 and 3. That's the extraordinary joint meeting that we have here this evening. It's also situated in a C6 zoning area. That's the site is outlined here is blue dot here. One thing to note is that the site sits within the context of a very dense and intense mix of uses. As you know, all of it, Little Italy, Chinatown, Trifecta. But the first thing to see here is that it sits right in the middle of the permitting not within the.
I want to thank all the speakers, and I want to thank everyone who came. I'm going to have a couple of comments. That's fine. But first, I'd like to have Deputy Building President come up and make a police comment. And then we'll move on with the questions they find. Matthew.
Thank you, Anthony, and I want to thank both Community Board 1 and Community Board 3 for coming together to have the first public meeting on these discussions. Some of you probably got a copy of the letter that the Borough President sent to the administration talking about the need for community engagement, so I applaud the community boards for making the first public meeting happen. We need to have robust conversations about this. We wholeheartedly believe that closing Rikers Island is the right thing, but we have to engage communities appropriately. We have to engage communities the right way, and we will continue to work with the boards and with the communities to make sure that the environmental process is as engaged as possible, leading into, we saw the Euler timeline when we make decisions on what will actually happen. So we have heard a lot of concerns about parking in the neighborhood, desire for additional housing for seniors, and some other things that are important to us that we will continue to push on. We will continue to make sure the voice of the community is heard, and we will continue to fight with the community board to make sure all stakeholders are heard, and that this project and the components related to this project, like at 125 White Street, are addressed and the needs of the community are met through this process. So we will continue to push. We know we are working with Councilmember Margaret Chin to have this house next week. Again, thank you for booing me. Thank you. We're going to have a town hall next week, so we anticipate seeing many of you there as well as others. So we're going to continue to be engaged in this process. And thank you again to Community Boards 1 and 3 for bringing this public meeting together.
You better change your mind. You better change your mind.
Thank you, Deputy Building President Matthew Washington. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with the program. You've heard all the information, and as I said, the round rules are. By the way, we have to be packed up and gone by 8:30. So,
Yes?
Do you need a microphone?
Can you come to a mic or get to a mic?
I have a microphone here. Right here.
Oh,
On
okay.
that.
And then you come.
Just a comment. Yeah, 1 minute. I know, I'm used to that. So, CB1 members got that one. Inside joke. The thing I wanted to say is the entire process. These projects always seem to come to us and they're a fait accompli. I mean, the mayor made a decision, and then that's it. It's a it's like he says Trump's a dictator. He just made a dictatorial decision himself.
Yes.
Consulting us. So, I mean, the real concerns are. I mean, you picked like the most congested place in the entire city.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. something that's to have, you know, to have a jail. And how these prisoners going to be transported? I mean, Canal Street is a mess without this. And for years we've been asking the city for traffic enforcement at various intersections, and we never get them. So I mean, all these things, you know, add up to, you know, this is just disaster. I don't know, you know, there's civics groups that sometimes, you know, file lawsuits and these kind of things to really make the process, you know, work. So.
Thank you. Please hold the applause, please, because we really need to hear everyone. And when you applaud, then I can't hear, and the people in the back can't hear what they're saying. So we miss out on a whole opportunity to hear someone's thought in their process, okay? If you need to speak, please come to a microphone. Is next, and then there's a mic right here. If you're a board member, please come up to board members first, and then we're gonna open up to the people that signed in to speak, okay? Yes, we come.
All right, so is everyone clear for that protocol? All right, thanks, Alicia. Just very briefly before I have a couple of quick questions. So the announcement was made in February that the Rikers would be closed, and 4 sites were announced. One of them was 125 White. In April, Community Board 3 voted to have a place on any task force that would be formed. And then we didn't hear anything until basically a couple of weeks ago when the draft scope was announced and the clock started ticking. We had no input from February when the site was announced until now, and the site was totally changed without any of our input. So how are we supposed to trust that there will be ongoing community engagement going forward? I mean, I understand there's a long road ahead, but there were several key missed opportunities up to this point, and I think I echo what a lot of people feel in the room of extreme anger and frustration that we were left completely out of it. I want to say that I'm trying very hard to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I truly want to be highly involved in the process. I want the community to have a lot of involvement. And while I understand the new site may be the better site, and it's an opportunity to have 125 be developed for something else for the community, I don't really want to address that right now, but I do want the actual concerns about the detention centers to be addressed, and not for us to be distracted by promises of community benefits later on the road.
Exactly.
You know, I'm in agreement that Rikers needs to close and the incarceration system needs to be reformed, and I'm happy that the prison population is going to be effectively cut in half. However, in this community, the prison population is going to double, and it's going to not to be, it's not going to consist of low-level offenses anymore, which, you know, for good reason. But however, our prison population is going to double, and it's going to be a lot higher offending criminals. So I want the focus to be on that and what you're going to do to address the community concerns about that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. Actually, the last speaker said just about everything that I wanted to say. I'm Bruce Ehrman from Community Board 1. I think Worth Street, in particular, has suffered, what is BP? Has suffered so many depredations for so many years at this point, from the crane crash to the death of the pedestrian from the crane crash, to issues of 60 Hudson Street for going back 15, 20 years, to a Worth Street reconstruction process that has been out of control now for almost 3 years, with no thresholds and no ends in sight, that it's difficult to imagine another new event of this magnitude coming to Wood Street. However, I am all for criminal reform. It's one of the reasons why I voted for the politicians that we have in power at the moment. The criminal reform system, the criminal justice system needs to be reformed completely. Rikers Island is a horrible hellhole, as we well know. We know that the last head of it incarcerated himself. It's a place of victimization and cruelty. And if you want true reform, and if you consider yourself progressive, then in addition to opposing this site, if that's what you do, I suggest you also come up with an alternative site for this prison, and not just say you're for prison reform, but don't want it in my backyard.
We have one, we have one. We have one, you'll hear it.
Hi, so my question is specifically to a document. Actually, I don't think it was shown on the slideshow there, but it was on the website and there was a link to it. So it's something called the EAS, and it's about all 4 locations. So it draws a study area of 400, a radius of 400 feet, I believe, around the proposed facility, and that's the study area. So I just want to question whether or not that is what is considered to be the only impacted area, because it doesn't go that far, and I believe that the impacts would be greater just from hearing from the people here today. So I hope the study area, or the area to be impacted, is seen as much bigger than the circle I see on this document.
Answer in 1 minute.
So, I guess I'm going to, there's been a lot of questions answered, so we're asked, so I'm going to answer these questions. So, to be clear, when we're talking about, there is currently a detention center. You do have a jail in your backyard.
And a federal jail. It's going to double.
Let him talk.
Are you going to speak?
Sorry.
Right? Now, I think we can all agree that if you walk down Center Street or any of the streets surrounding the current facility, they're not much fun to walk by, right? They're not very pretty to look at. There's a lot of construction and traffic. What we are saying here is that the current jail, which consists of 2 towers, yes, I'm answering all, are going to be closed. In this place, there's going to be a brand new facility that's going to, we believe, be more fit into the greater context of the community.
Prettier.
Right? With the 2 towers, one will be used to house the current occupants, right, of the space we're looking at, and the other tower will be given back to the community. And we can have a great discussion. It can be used for housing. We can talk about what it can be used for. That's going to be something that's going to be up to the greater community.
It's going to remain a
So,
jail.
I mean, I think that talks, is that what folks still understand? We're not talking about putting an additional jail. We're talking about closing the facilities that exist and building a new facility.
That's very mixed signals.
You have a jail currently.
Not at 80 Center. Not at 80 Center. Go ahead.
Now, you have a couple other questions. So I think David is talking about the study area.
So in terms of the study area, that is right now the scope, the area of study of the EIS. If that is a comment in terms of, to the scoping hearings, that should be enlarged, that is, absolutely a comment that we would, receive. I think it might be helpful to also share in terms of the process, the fact that this is a design build, which is something a little, and this wasn't an exact question about this, but I think is actually an important piece of information to share in terms of, this is a very unique thing that the procurement method is the design build procurement method, which is very different than how city projects currently operate. It's something that was specifically authorized through the legislature, specific to the closure of the Rikers Island jails. It means that we are moving into the Euler process at a different stage in design than what is typical, and that there will be, at the closure of Euler, some more opportunities to actually build into the design process itself. That is when we will bring the design team on, essentially. And so there's certainly some people here who can speak more to the specific expertise, have more expertise on the technical components of that. But that is something that we think is important just to think through when we talk about what the opportunities are for engagement, is that there will be some opportunities for formal engagement engagement with the design process of this new facility. In terms of, the criteria for this site, just one of the things I wanted to, I think, reiterate, Commissioner Carrion's point about, this being the site or proximity to the site of the current jail, because these sites were chosen because of those proximity to the courthouses. So that has really been, and of course, where there are, in 3 of the 4 boroughs where there are existing DOC facilities. And so because this is a site that is proximate to the courthouse and where there is an existing DOC site, we believe that this is a better option for all the reasons that we said earlier in terms of closer to the civic core, in terms of the ability that there will be, in a future process, the opportunity to talk about whether that opens up space for housing of some form. I certainly want to appreciate the important point that we should talk about what that, future process is and not lose sight of, the important questions around the detention center today. But, I just wanted to share that that is certainly some of the thinking of this. In terms of the detention center today, I do think that just wanted to address the point about it will be a different mix of individuals. Right now, it is pretrial detainees at the MDC, at the detention center. That it is, it is pretrial of all levels. That it will not necessarily be a more serious charge level in the new facility. That actually, if we're talking about a similar makeup, there's a classification of all levels right now in the current detention center. So it will actually not be a different profile of individual.
Filibuster.
1 minute
I wanted to share that.
Okay, we're gonna move on so other people have an opportunity to speak. Okay, first row, community board members. Anyone have any comment, question? First row? Okay, I'm going now. Yes, okay. Please come.
Bureau Community Board 1, I have a question for you. I want to know how much is this going to cost? And where is this money going to come from? That's one question. Second question is, what happens if you do not get that prison population down to 5,000?
Right.
Where are you going to put the rest?
Right.
Back in the original jail.
Do you want to answer? Answer?
In 1 minute?
So we're completing the master plan, and we'll have by the end of this year, when the master plan is complete, we'll actually have an understanding as to what the cost of this will be. Obviously, it will be it'll be a significant capital investment, and this will be city funds that finance it, and that will be something that will have to be reflected in future financial plans. But that is we don't have an exact number. That's one of the questions being answered, being addressed in the master plan.
What happens if the prison population doesn't exceed 5,000?
Thank you. So we believe that it is actually very reasonable and possible for us to bring that prison population, or the jail population, to 5,000. It's something that we've obviously looked at. It's something that I think that the independent commission also considered, based off of what the historical trends have been, based off of what we're seeing around the country. So this is a long-term plan.
Are we being taxed?
Sir, excuse me, I'm answering it. So we are working to ensure that with the appropriate policy changes and initiatives, such as faster case processing, such as bail reform, such as additional pretrial release.
Ma'am, the question is, what happens if that is not reached? I understand. I really would appreciate if you would answer the question that's asked.
So we believe it will be reached.
And what if it's not?
What if it's not?
So then
Just believe.
Have faith, blind faith.
What if
We
it's not?
really can't go through the back and forth right now. I mean, I know,
She's got to answer
I get what you're saying, but I also have a lot of people that really want to speak and voice their opinion. And I really need to give everyone an opportunity. There's going to be many opportunities for you to say everything that you want to say. I promise you that. This is not going to stop tonight, okay? So, I just want to say the community, excuse me,
will address your question. The community boards are going to be voting on comments and issues and concerns of the scope of work. So if you take that to the community board, that can be included in the formal comments at the public hearing.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay. All right, so we have a cluster. I'm going to, if you belong to Chatham Towers, I'm going to cluster you together. And if you want to pick one person that will speak for the group, that would be great because you're all coming from there. If you have something totally different, listen, for the sake of time, I'm going to give, listen, it's like,
it takes so much time.
it's literally 1 minute to speak, so I really want to do this.
Just pick two from that group. Just pick two from that group.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. Please come.
No,
If
just
you're, pick two people from the cluster. Nancy Khan, Vincent
Rosiano.
There you go, Vincent. There you go.
Hello, Vincent.
Hello, Vincent.
Huey.
Vincent.
Please come to the mic quickly. If you're there first, speak first.
Vincent.
My name is Nancy Kong. I'm president of the board of Chinatown Towers. This is a 240-unit residential. I'm not sure if you're aware, but our building is actually in your pictures. So our residents, our home, our community is within your zone. I heard you talk so much about community involvement. I didn't see one slide that represented the community concerns. I didn't see we need to hear each other. Please hold the floor. I do want to hold you accountable for the community engagement that you speak so highly of and so many times. Because I didn't see one slide, I do want to tell you why we're all here. After 9/11, our community changed dramatically. We live, we die in this community. Our livelihood is there. When you talk about building this beautiful facility, you're not talking about and understanding the impact to our lives. We live across the street. We use the Columbus Park that you talk about. We walk along the streets that you highlighted here. Our community, our business owners, you call them local businesses, but they're our livelihood. I ask you to please hear us in a more prolonged meeting so that we really understand the concerns. After 9/11, the congestion on the streets as well as the subways, it impacts our lives. EMS is delayed because of the traffic. People die because of that. We talk about the construction, the asbestos, the lead. That is what our children will be breathing. That is what we will be breathing. It will contaminate water. And so, to me, you have to address those concerns. You have to also not talk as if this is a done deal. If you really want community engagement, there are other opportunities to use vacant building sites. And when you talk about the funding and the capital investment, these are our taxpayer dollars. I strongly encourage you to please hear us out.
Thank you.
My name is Vinny Rosiano, and I live in Chatham Towers. I've been there I saw it being built, and I've been there for over 50 years. The city has always been looking to put more jails in neighborhoods and communities to make the convenience of our judges, to reform Rikers Island Prison, and to make it easy for our judges to complete their cases. Why not use the beautiful designs that the architect has brought to us, right, and put them on Rikers Island? Why don't you have a new jail and new courts on Rikers Island? We can have the people, the cops who drive the prisoners over here in the city, drive the judges to the new courts and the prisoners. And the prisoners can walk right across into the new courts to hear their cases early. The Chinatown area is currently overwhelmed with jails. And the proposed jail would cause significant efficient and emergency services and traffic congestion at Worth and Center Streets. We ask you please, and as you said, reconsider. There are other options out there. 80 Center Street is not the only answer. And the biggest thing is, don't make the new marriage bureau a prison. And don't make Chinatown prison town.
I'm a resident of Chinatown and I'm a member of the board. A lot of all the speakers will speak to you about the problems with traffic, but I want to talk to you about the Louis J. Lefkowitz State Office building that is going to be demolished. It's a 1930s building. It should be landmarked. But more importantly, since it is a 1930s building, it has a lot of asbestos and lead-based paint. And this needs to be addressed and taken care before on the demolition, because usually asbestos is encapsulated or enclosed, so it's safe. But when you do demolition, it's all going to get released in the air, and we have Columbus Park right across the street, Collect Pond on the other side. In Columbus Park, we have this small child's playground, which will be definitely affected by lead-based paint, dust, particles, fumes, and just any construction fumes. We need to safeguard the park with children to make sure that on the EIS that we remove that before any construction starts.
Time. Thank you. Nicholas Stable. Stabile. Nicholas.
Go,
Lynn,
Nick.
Patricia Sal.
Ty.
Sai? Yeah, come to the mic, please, quickly. And Janine Chen.
Hi, my name is Patricia Tsai, and I'm here to represent the Ling Sing Association, a 118-year-old association located on historic Ma Street in the heart of Chinatown. The association has thousands of members and comprised of 18 separate organizations, each of which has at least 70 years of history. We're opposed to the mayor's plan to transfer detainees from Rikers to New York City on practical, fiscal, and equity grounds. On a practical level, we're greatly concerned about New York City's ability to manage the so-called modern community prisons, because the city has not been a good steward of city shelters and public housing, nor the existing jail on 125 White Street. The homeless problem in NYC is far from fixed. NYCHA housing is in a dilapidated state. Both our populations in dire need of care, and the city has not served them well. How can we be expected to take a leap of faith to believe that the outcome will be any different when detainees, another vulnerable group, are transferred to the city from Rikers?
Please hold your applause until she's done.
Fiscally, we support Queens City Council Member Hogan's proposed bill to establish a commission to evaluate the cost of revamping Rikers before demolishing it entirely in favor of building brand new jails in the boroughs. Ultimately, it will be we, the taxpayers of New York City, who will be footing the bill, and we deserve to know if our hard-earned dollars, potentially in the billions, are spent wisely or squandered away quickly.
Thank you. Time.
Can you please go back up the community engagement slide with me? My name is Nicholas Stabile. I'm a board member of Chatham Green, a 420-unit complex on Park Row that is home to almost 1,000 people. I share the concerns of many of the people here about the substance of this issue. What I want to ask questions about today is the process. That's why I asked you to put back up that slide. I would like to know what future meetings you will hold, when you will announce those meetings, how many meetings you will hold, and what the role the Community Board 3 and 1 will have in this process. Explain to us from today until the jail is built, everything that happens and what the process that occurs between now and then. Thank you. When the challenge fell. Let's be real here.
So I started out my remarks by saying that there was a town hall meeting next week on the 12th at 6:30 at ES 124, actually 6 o'clock. And there'll be a scoping meeting on the 27th at 1 Center Street. So this is the beginning of our process. We will continuously update the community board and everyone who's interested in receiving information for additional opportunities to speak out.
When will you decide as to what the remainder of that process is, and when remaining meetings will be held?
We will continuously keep posted. I don't think there is a way for us to tell you every meeting that we're possibly going to have between now and June 12th. But we are open. We've told you the next 2 meetings, and those are the 2 current meetings we have planned. And if anyone is interested in having additional meetings with their community associations, state associations, whatever group that you represent, we are welcome to come and speak to your organization.
The second question is, what is the role of community board in reading and watching this process?
So, I don't know if you want to say that.
The more detailed process, like timeline slide. The one that's going to answer this question.
Ahmed, you can go ahead and say, please speak.
Hi, my name is Ahmed Tigami. I'm also with the Mayor's Office. To your question, the role of CB1 and CB3 is twofold. In the ULIP process, the Community Board has an advisory opinion that they issue they have up until 60 days after certification. So they'll hold public hearings, they'll continue to do this kind of engagement, and we will continue to be available to them to answer questions, give presentations, and basically provide the community either in person, in writing, or on our website. MOCJ has a website dedicated to closed records, and we put a lot of information up about the work that we've been doing over the last several years, over the work we plan on doing for the next several years, because this is an extended process. So that's the ULIP component. Separate from that, CB1 and CB3, we have made a commitment to them, and they have expressed as leadership in your community to be part of all the community meetings that we work on and plan moving forward. As the Commissioner just described, we have 2 meetings that we have scheduled now. We're working on finding locations and other times and dates and building out the process. So to your question, there's a ULIP component, there's a community engagement component. They will absolutely be partners with us, and we will provide them with all resources we can to make sure that people have the information.
We got to the slide. So I just wanted to speak to a couple of the other issues that have come up, just to provide points of information. So one, I think that Eric said this in terms of the facade, but I did want to make clear that the intention would be to preserve the facade of 8 Center Street. I think the point in terms, because for exactly the reason that it certainly has some type of historical value and significance, I think to the point in terms of understanding what any of the impacts would be of construction above and beyond just the demolition of the facade is a point that's a very important one, and obviously one that we would want to consider as part of the EIS, we'll be looking at as part of the EIS, but also would want to work on with neighborhood engagement in terms of being able to come back and forth as to what we expect that would look like and how we could hear any feedback on mitigation of that. The other thing, just as I don't think that we shared this early on, but in terms of wanting to communicate information, I wanted to make it clear that part of the intention of this would also be, we know that traffic and parking is absolutely something that is a concern that I am certain people have. And one of the things that we have looked at is that right now that street that is in between the north and the south tower is a street that is used for parking, which we think is not the most aesthetically pleasing way for a street to be used. So right now the plan is to provide parking underneath, below-grade parking underneath the facility of upwards of 100-something parking spaces. to be able to ensure that, at least for a number of the staff in the facility, that parking could be provided underground, and that would free up those current spaces. So just wanted to provide that point of clarification.
Good for them.
Okay, we have to let the next person speak. Please be respectful. You had your turn to speak, sir. Thank you.
I don't know if you can all see this, but there could not be a worse location for the proposed jail. 80 Central Street is where the motor vehicles, bicyclists, and tourists exit the Brooklyn Bridge and head uptown. It's right in front of where the proposed jail will be. It's located at the intersection of Worth Street. That is where Park Road traffic was rerouted after Park Road was locked down because of high security at the Federal Detention Center around the corner. Worth is currently the east side's cross-town route to the Holland Tunnel and downtown. During rush hours, there are already an army of traffic agents at this location. Worth Street, a normally two-way street, is shut one way now for the water tunnel project that is detouring traffic up Center Street. It will not be completed for years. Worth Street is the southern boundary of the proposed jail. Half a block away on Worth is the largest federal courthouse in the United States. Almost every high-profile Supreme Court case in Manhattan is tried here. Hordes of reporters, satellite trucks, and other media vehicles are camped on Worth Street for weeks during the trial, blocking traffic. On this block of Worth Street is the historic staging area for the 3 funeral parlors in Chinatown. Worth Street is also the southern border of Columbus Park and one of the most overutilized parks in Manhattan. Okay, permit plat reviews will have such a problem with that already. With the new staff at this new facility, that will multiply. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph Marietta, Jackie Wong, Lauren Gee, please come quickly.
Nobody says on prison reform will think it could be done on a modular basis on Rikers Island. Initial costs are $10 million projected, and we have no idea how long this project is going to be prolonged. If it goes for another 20 years, we're going to have another Wall Street crash, and everything will be up in the air, and will be left with the buildings collapsing. I don't know how you selected 4 current neighborhoods. All of them predominantly non-white. All of them stabilized. Right now, the city's public transportation is collapsing. Our infrastructure is deteriorating. Our education needs reform. Our parks and public libraries are dilapidated. Public hospitals are in shambles. And these prisoners are getting a country club. I'm sorry, that's what it looks like. You know, I have no problem building it in modular units, which can be moved, but keep them on Rikers Island and don't disrupt poor neighborhoods.
Time.
Why is not the priority tax-paying citizens?
Thank you.
My name is Joe Mirabella. I'm the president of Chinatown Towers, and I'd like to inform the city that they may not be able to build the proposed parking lot.
Speak directly into the mic.
They may not be able to build that parking lot beneath the new prison because there is a river that flows out of the Black Pond that goes beneath the federal courthouse. And we sued them, and we won our case because they had to build a bridge over this river to construct that building. And we also have litigation where we stop all pile work because the structure is sand, the surface is sand. We're frightened that this may hurt our foundation and the foundations of other buildings in the area. And if you come in and start doing that again, that's what's going to happen. We're going to sue you, we're going to stop you from doing that pile work. Now, don't forget, you're going to be bringing prisoners down from Sing Sing. They no longer will go to Rikers Island and come to Sing Sing.
Time.
And there will be terrible problems with the trees. The building will cast a shadow on Columbus Park a little bit.
Thank you. Jackie?
Hi, my question is also about engagement and it's about the Justice in Design report. So in February and March 2017, the Justice in Design team conducted a series of workshops in France, Brooklyn, and Queens to understand people's experience of jails and the impacts that a decentralized home-based jail system would have on the well-being of people living and working in them and on the surrounding community. So my question is that why that workshop was not done in Manhattan, and why is Manhattan community that out of that engagement process? That's actually a question. That's a problem I have. And also the presentation indicates that 125 White Street will be returned to the community, and my concern is that political trade wind change directions all the time, and this mayor only has 2 years left, and this project appears to take at least 5-6 years or longer. So what if the next mayor or NYPD comes don't see incarceration the same way as this mayor, then are we going to be stuck with 2 jails on
Yes.
Thank you. Valentina Jones. Don Lee. Joe Chan. Just get to the mic.
I have a very quick question. Is the site done yes or no? Is the site in Manhattan a done deal, yes or no?
Yeah.
So that's a yes. Okay. So, because many folks in the community believe that the engagement process was the design location, but obviously because of red paint. But let me just share with you, Commissioner, you talk about impacts. I grew up in Chinatown, and I watched all the jails that were all built. Other than the 2 they were built before me. But everything else I've seen, and I'll let you know that the negative impact, folks cannot visit their grandmothers anymore, stores are closing. These are real issues. The very issue that you speak on behalf of prisoners, I'm speaking on behalf of the children and the seniors and the residents and the businesses of Chinatown. They matter too. We have far more better location for the jail. We are totally for reforming the criminal justice system, not just the jail, a complete system. And getting in that location is nothing more than just what it is. It's show. You know, when it comes to the SHSAT, the city said, what the city official said, not one group owns the admission process. But somehow, when it comes to jails, one community in Chinatown owns all the jail, and that is not right. You said that in jail before. This is time to correct that wrong. Just because it was there doesn't mean it should be here to begin with. This is the time, as the gentleman mentioned earlier, move the jail, move the courts. Return property to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joe Chan. I live on the other side of Columbus Park, on Mulberry Street. I just want to go to the source. Closing down Rikers is a terrible idea. That is the most volatile, contaminated petri dish you've ever been able. Just picture over 1,000 viruses are being spread into my community, the backyard of CB1, the other side of CB2. We're now also bringing in their families who are now going to be visiting. The alternative to incarceration is a bad idea because it's not working. The criminal justice system, it is not working. Rikers, Department of Correction, failed. I don't know what's going on with this mayor, the way the system is going. Crime is not going down. I'm sorry, shooting is not going down. These are the old things. I just want you to think about it. We've got about 1,000 units of that individuals coming into our area. The other 1,000, hopefully you're in the neighborhood. Just sink that into your head. Thank you very much.
Jan Lee, Richard Cohen. Joe Chan.
Oh,
That was you, right?
what are the
Okay.
We all look alike.
Thank you, Community Board 1 and Community Board 3 for this opportunity. If I told you that the Brooklyn Bridge was for sale, I think all the New Yorkers in this room would probably know that that wasn't true. And if somebody were to tell you that this administration was capable of bringing the prison population from 8,500 to 5,000, you would know that that was not true either. And the reason you know that is because you guys live in New York and you understand that this mayor isn't capable of doing that. This is the same mayor that gave away Rivington House to luxury housing. This is the same mayor that lied to federal agents when they were inspecting the houses for lead. This is the same mayor who hasn't fixed NYCHA. This is the same mayor who hasn't fixed the homeless situation. Homeless people are put into hotels in New York City. That's the solution that this mayor has come up with. And I appreciate the pretty renderings, but if you think for 1 minute that any of that is possible with this administration, you probably think that the bridge is for sale. I agree that we need to reform the prison system, but if you believe that this is going to happen, that the timing of bringing 8,500 to 5,000, that one ULURP process will work for 4 communities, that 4 communities fit into one ULURP and one environmental impact statement, I got a bridge to sell you.
There were 2 more speakers. Richard Cohen, are you in the room? Left. Jan Lee? Oh, that was you? Okay.
I got more. You want more? I got more.
You didn't call me. Was there anyone else that didn't fill out an orange slip? I filled it out. Come, quickly.
I live in Chinatown, I haven't heard any real explanations tonight of why all the things you're talking about can't be done on Rikers Island. I haven't heard it once, and you said it 1,000 times. So I want to know what's going to happen to Rikers Island. I really want to know the answer to that.
Build on it.
There's going to be some really, projects. Right?
Anyone care to answer that question?
Yeah, just answer for us. And why all the pretty architectural ideas that you're presenting us with can't happen on Rikers Island. And also there wasn't one mention of like education for guards, which is probably really the crux of this, right? How prisoners are treated. It doesn't have to do with the building they're in, it has to do with the people who they're engaging with. Talk. Not one word about educating guards, and not one word about what's going to happen with Rikers. That we want to stick this prison, that we're like drowning in prisons here, we want to stick another one on us.
So I tried to make notes of just a few different questions that were raised, so I can hopefully try and speak to most of them. So in terms of, one, actually to Jackie's question on just the simple one on the justice and design workshops that were done, I believe that those were out of the independent commission, that was something that the Lippman Commission did, and that was actually not, that was not the administration. So that was the independent commission chaired by Judge Lippman and had a number of different commission members appointed by the speaker, issued a report of recommendations that around the closure of Rikers Island and the move to borough-based facilities, obviously, which aligned closely with what ultimately, we decided to do. But just the point of clarification that I'm not certain if there was or wasn't a Manhattan meeting, because that wasn't something that we had specifically been involved in. Ma'am, I'm answering a number of different questions.
What's happening to Rikers? What's happening to Rikers?
So in terms of why why not on Rikers?
Yes.
Obviously, this was, something that we had certainly looked at about whether you can provide these, better facilities on Rikers Island. It is our belief, and it was absolutely something that, I think was amplified and echoed by the Lippman Commission, by a number of other elected officials, by criminal justice reform advocates, that it is not just about the facilities, that is very important, but that the isolation of Rikers Island, the challenge of accessing it,
Use the ferry system.
Monorail.
the
Use
fact
the
that
ferry system.
Please let her finish, thank you.
I'm
Nobody
trying to
mentioned
provide
it.
information as best as I can, and in terms of what the justification has been and is for this. And that proximity to the courts is very important for a better access to justice. And so it is about actually having a borough-based jail system that is better for the public safety system. And I just want to challenge us all that, our development of a better public safety system and a better criminal justice system has great benefit to people who are in detention, and it has benefit to all New Yorkers in terms of better public safety outcomes. And that doesn't have to be a zero-sum game with the types of important neighborhood concerns that are being raised in this room and that we want to continue to work on. And so I don't think that we have to look at this as how do we invest in neighborhoods and invest in communities and deal with the types of issues and concerns that have been raised around NYCHA and housing, and how we are also investing in and talking about how we have a much better public safety system, both for people and their families who are coming into contact with this, but also because it does lead to lower levels of crime, and that is something that's very important. So, and I just want to make sure that we don't look at this as an either or, that we can do both of these things, and we need to, and in fact, these goals can work in together with each other. On the timeline question, I think that, all right, just in terms of what the timeline for this is, we have said that we believe that this is, and this is, part of, I think, the scoping document, that this is a plan that we can achieve with completion within 10 years, because we have that design build procurement method that I mentioned earlier. We believe that will actually deliver some savings in this. It's not something that we've done in New York City, but we've seen that from around the country. We believe that there's reason to believe that that time frame can come down even shorter from that, but that's what we're working on. There is no current plan. There is no plan for the future of Rikers Island. Right now, what we're focused on is the development of these borough-based jails, and there is no plan for what happens on Rikers Island. There obviously is some
Realtors are going to build something.
Please let her finish, please.
around that, but that is, where things currently stand.
He opens up to more questions.
Okay, thank you. Two more.
Hi, Mariam, co-chair of the Black Committee, Community Board 1. I had two questions. When we were forming, spoke a little bit to education and the consideration of the community policing program that was recently introduced here. I had a similar question in mind as to what the education of the officers or anybody would be coming to this neighborhood would be, and in particular consideration additionally of the language barriers and this onslaught of people that are going to be unleashed onto Chinatown. My other question was with regard to the children that use the park. And I know for a fact Manhattan Academy of Technology, which is located in Community Board 3, it's a middle school. My daughter went there, and the softball team, the girls' softball team, uses that park to play all the time. What protections are put in place for these people that are going to be in the neighborhood now?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Valentina Jones, I'm a registered nurse, and I've lived in this community for more than 50 years. At one point, I think I was like 14 or 15, I worked at the House of Detention, 100 Center Street as a youth court job. And as I listen to this is how I feel about my community. I grew up in a diverse community that was concerned about all people. And what I hear here tonight is once again a concern for people, but also a concern for people in all directions in terms of the people that live here. And it sounds like people feel as if that was not taken into consideration. The people that live here, the space that you're using. And also, in no way would but I feel comfortable not saying there are concern or is a concern for the people who are mainly Black and Puerto Rican that are housed at Rikers Island. There is a concern for them also. I'm stating there is a concern for them. One of the things I heard